So after this short excursion towards the terminology of the techniques of the uēku, I will just continue and talk about the techniques and the parts of the uēku that I used. As shown in the beginning, so you can use the rear end, the butt end, always, right? So whatever you do, when you do something like this can be a technique. This can be a deflection, all right? This can be a attack, a counter, or a deflection attack, a combo type, and a block and attack in one move, right? So you're not blocking and counting, but you're gonna do it in one move. Same here, right? Like something like this. So, okay, so of course you're gonna use the blade portion of the uēku, and since they're not too heavy, but it's gonna cut, particularly if you're gonna hit a bone like the collarbone. This is gonna hurt. Your arm will be hanging down if you get hit like that. If you get hit like that by the blade portion in the head, you're gonna bleed. It's gonna plop open, right? It's gonna, the face. It's not deadly naturally, but under all circumstances. But there's gonna be a wound. There's gonna be a hematome, and in the worst case, it's gonna crack the skull, right? And so, if going here to the collarbone, it can break. If your collarbone is broken, you cannot fight anymore because you cannot raise your arm anymore. So it's gonna hang down. How do I know this? Because I had my collarbone broken once, and I ran around like this because the pain was unbearable. So you can also cut like on any joint. It's devastating because the joint capsules, if they break, this is a long injury. It's very painful. You never know if it's going to heal properly anytime. So this makes it so dangerous. So it's got the blade, right? So what you do with the blade is like here, you strike here, one like this, right, or like this, or you strike like this. So these techniques are devastating, very hard techniques. And of course, so basically when you say there are like defenses and attacks in the kata, like usual, it's always the case that you can interpret them twice. Most of the block, if not all of the blocks, are part of the attack or are the attack itself already. I said before, this is called the mamoru or gedanbawai. Okay? This is a very typical technique you see in Okinawan Bojutsu. But from terminology, if you look at the older village Bojutsu, these techniques are not, it's not like a block. It can be a block, of course you can block like this, but you can also just attack to the feet, right? To the leg, to the feet, to the knee, which is devastating too. So, of course, you got a lot of little blocks that you can do here, which are necessary in fencing. With any tool that you have to have a little block, but you usually don't overemphasize the block. So that's a difference to modern Okinawa Kobudo, where the blocks are very much emphasized. But in actual combat, you don't have time. You block and you counter, right? You cannot block and then prepare and then you counter. That doesn't work. It's good for demonstration reasons and things like that, but it's not actually good as a combative application. Also footwork, as I said in the beginning, so you can do like this, you can find applications for this, but if you have an incoming vector, right, a force with a direction, and it's a martial vector, so something that wants to attack you, You want to get out of the way or something, right? So there are endless possibilities to do that. That's why most of the yakusoku kumite that are done in the dojo, even for grading, they're just examples. They're good examples. You have something to study and try and teach, but they're not a comprehensive, all-encompassing solution. All right. So just as you know that. Okay, let's look at the kata a little bit more. So let's see. Here comes Susumakaku, right? So you're taking your foot away because maybe there's a foot attack, right? So and at the same time to counter it, you're gonna stick the front end into the water, into the sand, into the pedal stones, or whatever there might be, a net or something lying on the ground, and you flip it into the eyes of the opponent. So it's going to go like, oh, right? That's enough. You got a split second of distraction, and you follow from here with a strike, right? You strike here. So the technique here, he blocks it, ducks down, whatever, attacks your leg, you flip on, he goes back, and you strike the head, collarbone, shoulder joint, whatever. Alright, so then 1, 2, very simple, right? It's a very simple technique. So it's a horizontal strike with the blade part, of the top. So hey, 1, 2, flip, sand, strike. Now you changing of the hands is the most difficult thing in this whole kata, and it's the most important thing in this whole kata. And if you see expert performing it, you don't even see it, how often they change the hands. But you cannot replay or reenact the kata without knowing these hand changes. Okay, so hand change, strike, hand change, strike. Just like this, hand change. This alone is an excellent technique. Right? It will hit something, a finger, a hand, wrist, an elbow, the weapon itself, whatever. You can make it long, on any level, a little upwards, a little downwards. So, typical technique of the uēku. Doesn't need much power because you swing the weapon. You only need the power and the stomping. This is show, okay? It's not working. This is not how something works. If you ever stood on a workbench and working on something, trying to put force on something and into something, you will notice that you're just gonna hurt yourself. Okay?